Welcome to week 2 of Tomahawk Sports Talk, where we bring you all the news and insights coming from Fort Osage Sports. I'm Blake Overbeck.
I'm Brayden Nyson.
And I'm Matthew Soul. So let's get right into it with football Friday. Football played Platte County away, and it was a tough loss, 7-46. There were a couple injuries, though, so that's a little handicap. And looking at the positive, though, Braxton Nunez and Mauricio Bears with picks on probably the best QB in the state. So that's a good way to look at things. I think so far this year, the secondary is probably the bright spot of the team, and I think that'll really show later in the year. And get some big wins there. What do you have to say about that, Bird?
Yeah, it was, of course, a tough loss. I mean, thing about football is that we need to work out our consistency. Of course, if you were there, you watched that first drive. It was a really good first drive. We converted on first downs. Passing game looked good. Running game looked good as well. But whenever you stall out and you don't have that consistency for the rest of the game, that's where it kind of goes to a fault, you know? Especially when you have your number one target, someone who is averaging about 100 points, 100 yards a game, and Nick, he gets hurt not even 3 plays in, and then Trace has a nagging injury on his ankle throughout the game. It's tough. But we just got to look on to next week against Truman. Truman this year, they're definitely a better team than they were last year, and mostly their strength comes on their D-line and their O-line kind of. And, I mean, you look at their schedule, you see a blowout loss against Smithville, but it was a 14-14 game at halftime, and then Van Horn, who they lost to by 3 points, they lost to a scoop and score on, so they can definitely pack a punch, so they're not some team to look over.
Okay. We're moving on to volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball.
All right, volleyball. So they had the Grand Valley Spike Fest last week.
But first, we have they destroyed Ruskin 3-0. Actually, Riley Gage hit 1,000 assists that game. Pretty big accomplishment. Wouldn't you say so, Matthew?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't know volleyball stats, but 1,000's a pretty big number, you know?
Yeah.
And then, they had that Grand Valley Spike Fest where they went, they go 3-3. They lost to St. Pius, beat Odessa, lost to Ray Peck, beat Pleasant Hill, lost to Grand Valley, and then beat Belton.
I think those wins, especially beating Belton, I mean, they lost that team earlier in the year in 3 sets. So to come back and beat them 2-1, it's a probably a great feeling for them, especially having such a big tournament like Grand Valley Spike Fest. It's got to feel good coming out of that, knowing where you are. Those are the type of things you go to see, oh, this is where we stack up to the competition at.
Yeah, so they played Grand Valley yesterday.
They played Grand Valley yesterday. They win the first set, and then they lose the next 3. I feel like it can also be a consistency sort of thing. They know they can do this. They know they can win sets, win games, but they just need to make sure to carry it out.
So they have Wednesday off, and then Thursday they play Platte County. And then we got boys soccer. You want to take that?
Yeah, so last Wednesday, before we filmed the first episode, we played Platte County away, and it was a 3-2 win, which was a great win for us. That was our first real competitive conference game, so it was good to get a win. Just some headlines coming from that game. 2 of our goals were on set pieces, which is always great to see because that shows that our practice is working all the times. We sit out there and do the same play over and over and over again to get goals on that. And also, too, it's kind of surprising because our team isn't very big. So, to get goals and headers off set pieces, it's kind of funny. But, and the goals coming for that match were Adrian Galeas, Nick Cornejo, and Andrew Ayala. But so, yeah, it's just to see spreading around the score sheet, too. That always helps teams later in the season, not just relying on one guy, which is how we were successful last year. And then on Monday, we traveled to Green Valley, which is a fun match because last year we lost in double overtime in PKs, which is what almost happened this week because we were up 2-0 and then Green Valley gets a red card. And then so we're up a man. And then we got the score to 4-1. But then Green Valley scored 3 unanswered goals in like 15 minutes, so we had to go to overtime. And then once overtime we were tied up. We had to go to PKs, which was not where we wanted to be because of last year. But a couple guys stepped up. Me and Austin both made our PKs this year, where we missed them last year and we lost. So that's always a great sign. And Austin was the one to make the winning one and then take off his shirt, run into the corner. So that's a good celebration. He probably should have got a yellow card, but the game was already over. So, but no, it was a great win. It'll help us going into a really tough match tonight against Truman, which Braden's going to preview for us.
Yeah. But just talking about that Grand Valley game, that's a type of game that decides conference champions. I mean, who knows if Fort Osage would have won on Penn's last year? Who knows? It would have been a way higher chance of you guys winning conference champions. And then, but going on about Truman, that's Hispanic Heritage Night, so pretty big for some members on the team.
Yeah, for both teams.
Yeah, Truman is undefeated. They're 6-0. They face they're a formidable challenge for the Indians this year. Averaged 5.5 goals per game and 0.83 goals against. But last year, Fort Osage was 2-0 against them with a 3-0 win and a forfeit win.
Yeah, we were still 2-0 though because we beat them the other time too, but they just had to forfeit.
You know why?
I think they played an ineligible player, but I'm not certain. That's probably what it was. But also, going for Truman, they had one common opponent, or a few common opponents against us. They beat Platte County 3-0, which is a big win for them. So that's something we need to keep in mind because Platte County is a good team, and for Truman to beat them 3-0, that shows that Truman's something, and we're gonna have to be mentally prepared like we were on Monday. But I think if we're mentally prepared, I think we're gonna be successful. We just have to go in with the right mindset, and I think we can come out with a win.
Yeah, I feel like you can't ever like underestimate an opponent, and I feel like the thing with Fort Osage is that you've seen it in the Platte County game and the Grand Valley game is they've had leads, like significant leads, and then just mental errors allow those teams to come back.
Yeah.
Against a team like Truman, that won't be able to fly.
No, and like against Grand Valley, we should never have been even in overtime against them. Like we should have been out of there 4-1 at the end of the game because we played solid defense. But props to Grand Valley, they kept playing down a man. They didn't give up, and that's what. I mean, it made the game competitive. It made it fun, but we should never have been in that scenario. But it'll be a really good game next time we take on Grand Valley. And also, side note, Finn Snowden won the varsity FIFA tournament for the second year in a row. Just thought I'd have to throw that in there because he's very proud of that, even though it was faulty because he won on rock paper scissors one of his rounds. But good for Finn.
Can you tell us about your performance?
Bogan Weichel beat me first round because I got 3 red cards. But it's always fun. I always like to make Bogan mad. So
what are you doing in FIFA to get 3 red cards?
You just spam square and you slide tackle from behind. It's easy red cards. That's all. I don't even care about winning. I just wanted to make Bogan mad, but he won. So, and then got destroyed the next round.
In other news, softball, they got some momentum back from their tough start to the season. They got 3 wins in a row against Central, and then Smith Cotton. We'll talk about that later, and then Cursman. They blew out 12-0. So that Smith Cotton game, a 20-inning stunner with Harper Allen throwing all 20. Here, I'll look at it here. She threw 271 pitches, and 180 of those were strikes. So that's phenomenal. 27 strikeouts, 2 earned runs. So, that's a big game to get the ERA down. The Indians, through 20 innings, struggled a little bit on offense with 11 hits and 16 strikeouts themselves. But, they pulled through with the win, obviously, with 5 runs. And Smith Cotton's pitcher also went the full 20 innings, 16 strikeouts, 3 earned runs. So that's a great game to be a part of and a great game to win, after 20 innings.
Did you also notice that they scored, a lot of runs combined in the first inning?
Yeah, no.
They scored 5 combined runs in the first inning, and then they scored one in the 5th, and then they didn't score again until the 19th. Could you imagine just playing from 14 innings of just absolutely nothing happening?
So, yeah.
But Coach Sullivan did say there was great defense.
Yeah.
Nonstop. So that is good to see from your team.
Through 20 innings, you get those mental fatigue and physical fatigue, and they had 2 errors, so you can't be too mad about that.
Well, and props to the Indians too for sticking with it, because I know some people would just give up. They just want to go home about the 13th inning to play 20 like that. That's insane.
I mean, high school doesn't have the MLB rules, do they? Or softball doesn't, where just a runner on second during extras, do they?
I don't think so, because we went to extras last year in baseball, and I don't think they put a runner on second, which is surprising.
Who did we go into extras against?
Oak Park, remember? Bogan was at second.
Yeah.
Did they have a guy on second?
Yeah, well, they put a guy on second.
They did put a guy on second. Okay, I don't remember because I was pitching.
Yeah, I remember they do that for baseball.
I just thought there was a guy on second because I walked like 14 people, but it's fine.
I feel like the difference is like with soccer and softball, to go 20 innings in baseball, your entire pitching staff is just like you're just chalked for a while.
Yeah, because we just can't do it.
A week or two, you're catching up.
Yeah,
But in softball, the fact that you can have one pitcher throw 20 innings, that's actually insane.
in one night too. It's not like she threw 20 innings over a week. It's one game. That's just nuts.
I was actually checking the Misha records. That's not even like close to the.
It's got to be somewhere close.
The most strikeouts in a game is like 44.
44 in a game?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So following that 20 inning win, they beat Chrisman 12-0, and they scored 12 in the second inning. So that's pretty pretty good game there.
That's a pretty good inning.
Following that, they faced 2 very formidable opponents in Grain Valley and Platte County. Grain Valley was a 13-0 loss, and then Platte County was a 2-9 loss. So that's tough to face 2 very good teams after getting that momentum back, but I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yes.
So far, go ahead.
Well, especially since like Grain Valley is one of the best teams in the metro or in all of Missouri, and Platte County is no slouch too. So
Yeah, and also going back to that Smith Cotton game, like it's not like they can't compete with this team. Like if you can play 20 innings of competitive softball and come out with a win, like you can compete with anybody. It's just a matter of the day and the whatever. But still, I think they'll be fine because they showed they can compete, and I think they'll be successful going down the season.
So far this year, Harper Allen leads the team with 40 innings. Her ERA, she also leads the team in ERA with 2.8 and WHIP at 1.3. So far this year, in her 40 innings, she has 36 strikeouts. So, pretty good start to the season.
Yeah.
You could say.
I don't think baseball had a 40-inning pitcher at the end of the year.
Bogan probably threw 40 innings.
You think Bogan got to 40?
Probably. Hitting-wise, Keely Foreman and Haley Waite are the only 2 people hitting over 300. The only home run of the year is also Harper Allen, actually. So, playing both sides of the ball there. As a team, the Indians are hitting 234, and their OBP is 307. So, you can see the struggles there, obviously. I think that's all we have for softball. Girls golf. Tom Stout Invitational. The top scorers were Ava Adlard with 100 and Aubrey Miller with 104.
I mean, they had a solid team performance too. They placed 11th out of 22 teams. Especially when you look at all those teams ahead of them, it's like the bigger class schools like Lee Summits, Liberties, Northtown schools. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Next off, we have girls tennis. 0-9 loss against Grain Valley.
And then they faced Chrisman, which was a 2-6 loss. So, but I'm sure they'll find momentum soon.
Thank you for tuning in to week 2 of Tomahawk Sports Talk. We look forward to seeing you next week. I'm Blake Overbeck.
I'm Ray Nissen.
And I'm Matthew Soul.
And we'll see you next time.